Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter. I do this twice a month on a Monday. I like to bring authors into my home. We talk about writing, reading, life as an author, and whatever comes to mind. And tonight, Nicola Italia is joining me this evening. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super pleased to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you. And I got to say, and I said this in the video earlier today, but I love your name. Nicola Italia. I love how it just rolls off your tongue. It's just a really cool name. Is that your real name?
No, I was working at a nonprofit at the time, and so I couldn't publish under my own name. And so Nicole is my middle name, and then I am Italian, so that's how it kind of came about. So no, that's my pen name.
I just love the way it flows. I love saying your name when I was doing the video, and I said it like with some kind of accent, Italia. You know, I just love it. I just love it, and it's perfect because of the genre that you write. I think so.
Yeah.
But before we get started on your books, you have a lot of books that you have written. Can you just give us a little background on anything you want to share with the rest of the world that you're okay with?
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of my background of how I got started in writing.
Yes, anything you want to share.
Yeah, I have been writing. I self-published, so I'm what they call an indie, and I have been published since 2014. And so I started way back, kind of like, in the beginning when when Amazon was really starting to explode and the indies were starting to get, more and more. For those of you who aren't familiar, there's the indie and then there's the traditional published. So traditional published are like, they have a publishing company behind them, etc. And so I'm what you call an indie. I'm self-published. And yeah, and so I started writing. I was originally writing chapters on a blog. It's called Literotica, and I had a dear friend who was like, you should take your really popular story and make a book out of it. And I really hadn't thought of it, and I was like, the more I thought of it, I'm like, what, I should. And so I took off 2 weeks that December, it was 2013, and I put everything together and I gave it a beginning and then tied it up and then gave it an ending because it didn't have an ending. It was just chapters. And that was my Sheik and the Slave. That was my first novel. And that was the book that started it all. So I still am very fond of that book because it's the Sheik and the Slave that kind of started all. It's a little on the hot, sexy side. So I have people still to this day, because it was published in 2014, so almost 11 years later, I still have people that are like, hate it or love it. So I didn't mean to make that kind of polarizing book, but some people really don't want the sexy stuff, and some people love it. So that's what it is.
It is, and not everyone's going to like our books.
Yeah.
There's so many genres out there, and we can't take it personally.
Yep.
I picked up many books. I love the author, but some books are just not for me.
Yep.
And that's just the way it is. But I think our very debut novel that starts our author career will always hold that special place in the heart, because for me, it is Reckless Beginnings. That's what started my career, just like yours. And that's what started your journey of writing. Now, how many books now?
Now I have 20 published, so 20. Yeah.
Congratulations. And that's in 9 years.
About 11, because I did start in 2014. So little under, about 11. And well, it was this, so a little under 11, but 20. Yeah. And I have 21 ready. I just got to get the cover, which is the hardest part sometimes.
Okay. I want to start with, you write historical romance.
Yes.
And you also said that you're crossing over to mystery, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I was looking at your bio. Now, 20 books. Can you just roughly tell us, I know some are series. Are they all a series? Or are they standalones? What do we have?
All of my books are standalone. I actually have actually have a series in my head right now with number 21, which isn't published yet, but all of them are standalone.
Okay.
And the only things that are kind of interwoven is the Sheik and the Slave. They had a son, and that's the Sheik's son. And then they had a daughter. And so they have their own books, but they're intertwined, but you could read one of them, or you could read them out of order. It's not, I never have done a series. I never could figure out how to do it. So I never did one until hopefully now. So.
I'm envious because I try to write a standalone and they always end up being a series.
Okay.
You write a standalone. The opposite. So I'm envious that you're able to write this standalone. And why did you choose historical romance?
When I was a reader, and I was a reader for those of you out there who like read in the 80s with the OG, the bodice rippers. I loved historic. When I was a reader, I loved historic romance like Lisa Kleypas, all the OG. I'm trying to think of Shirley Busby, like the OG that were just like amazing storytellers. That's what I love to read. And so when I started writing, it was just kind of a natural, like I really, and I love the historic aspect. I love doing, the research. I get such a kick out of it. So much fun.
I love reading historical fiction. I do. I'm reading one right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah. But as an author, I know me, I will never try and attempt to write it because of the research.
It is, yeah.
It scares the heck out of me. And I said this so many times, especially when I have an historical romance writer on my show. But I really admire authors that take the time, do the homework, do the research, and bring out these fabulous books. Now, you say historical fiction. Do you just specialize or focus on one era? Or do your books take place in different eras?
They previous to like, I'd say probably maybe the last 2 or 3 years, I was all over the place. I mean, I did French Revolution. The Sheik and the Slave is like way 17th century or 16th century. I did a little bit of the early 1800s, but now I'm really focused, especially with my historic mysteries, on the late Victorian era. I love that, like Jack the Ripper time, like the 1880s, 1870s. And so that's where I tend to write a lot now, but it wasn't like that in the past. And I'm not like a Regency writer or, some Georgian, like some people stick to just that. I'm
perfect. And your stories, they are historical romance, but are your characters based on anything like in real history?
I've had people ask me that before. I tend to do a lot of, I very much like to have strong female characters, not necessarily like the girl boss that's like, very popular now, but I like to have strong women that kind of have to go through something and they, persevere and they succeed. And so there is that. But as to like somebody that is like in my head, like, oh, I really want them to be there. I do notice that like with my grandmother, I was very close to my grandmother all of my life, and she passed away in 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But there's been a couple of older women that have had 7. So she had a good long life. But I have noticed that some of my grandmother figures are definitely Grandy. So I have definitely noticed that. But other than that, I wouldn't say there's people that I'm like, oh yes, that person,
right.
They always say, be careful, don't piss off a writer because they'll put you in your book.
That's right. I bet your grandmother has some stories.
She was very
years old.
She was very cool. She was, I like to call her the first feminist. She was a nurse in the 1940s and 50s. So she was a pretty cool lady. She was very, very strong.
Life. Okay, I am going to pause for a minute. We have some people joining us. I want to pop them up on the screen to say hello.
Okay,
again, cool. I am talking to Nicola Italia. I just love saying her name. If you have any questions for Nicola, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can. But let's see who's joining us. We have Virgie Lane is here. She says hello.
Hi.
And we have Karen Geeling. We have Connie Rosenberg. She says hello, everyone. I'm just going down the comments. We have Belinda. She says hello. And Wendy says hello. Barbara is here from Florida. Hey, Barbara. And while I'm doing this, we found out that me and Nicola live close. We're about 40 miles away from each other?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I was telling them we have to just meet up. We really do.
That's funny.
Belinda says, congratulations on your 20 books.
Thank you.
Renee is here. She was here. Where'd you go, Renee? Hold on a second. Here you are. Renee is here. I just want to Alabama. Belinda says she loves historical fiction. And then we have Tammy Van Asch. She says, good evening from PA. And Renee says, I love both a series and a standalone. I like that. I do. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to put this lady up. This is my sister-in-law, Pamela. Hey, Pam. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. We have Jesus Christ says, hola. Hello. He's watching this on YouTube. And then we have, oh, oh, my grandmother was a proofreader for a newspaper back when women didn't work outside of the home.
Yep.
Wow.
That was my grandmother too.
I love listening to those stories. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to get back to your books, but if you have any questions for Nicola, put them up in the comments. I'll get to as many as I can. The book that I have on the graphic, is that your latest one?
Yes, that's The Belle of London. That came out last year on Valentine's Day. So The Belle of London is she. Oh, I don't know if you're going to ask about it. I'm jumping ahead, maybe.
No, go. Keep going.
Oh, I was just saying she loses her parents and she needs to make her way in the world, and so she becomes a she goes onto the London stage, and so when she goes onto the London stage, she meets the Prince of Wales. So if any of you are familiar with historic, if you watch Bridgerton or any of the things, it was Bertie. He was the oldest son of Victoria and the prince, and he eventually becomes Edward. He was the Edwardian age. That was who he is. And so she becomes kind of a they don't become involved romantically, but she catches his eye and he wants to support her and kind of be her patron. Well, meanwhile, he has kind of a best friend whose name is Christopher. They call him Kit, who really thinks that she is an absolute gold digger, and it's an enemies to lovers, and so they clash and they fight, and she's just like, I'm not what you think I am, and so it's that. So and I'll be.
You don't happen to have a copy of it next to you, do you?
Do I what?
Do you happen to have a copy of any of your books next to you to hold up a cover?
You know what? It's in the garage. I could run and get it, but yeah. Okay.
For not asking you to have some ready. So
okay.
We saw the graphic with the cover because your covers are gorgeous. They are beautiful. What inspires your stories? You've written 20 standalones.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing a book, where does your inspiration come from? Especially, I'm always fascinated when it comes to historical fiction.
Yeah.
Where does your inspiration come from?
You know, it's never like, it could be something so weird. I can tell you what I experienced with one book. It was the tea plantation, and she is a woman who's kind of getting older, and she marries a man, and they go to Ceylon, which is Sri Lanka now, and he owns a tea plantation. So it's called the tea plantation. And what happens is he's kind of a little odd, and he's not very loving or caring about her. And what happens is he actually so at the tea plantation, the overseer of the tea plantation is his half brother, and the half brother falls for the main female character. But my point is, I was looking at coins, and I saw this beautiful old coin that said Ceylon, and that got me thinking about it. I was like, this is such a cool old coin, and it was like from, I don't even know, the 1800s or something. And I was like, this is a beautiful coin, and that's how I got that book. So
I love it.
Yeah, so you never know where the ideas are going to come from. It's crazy.
And it's one of my favorite questions because I just love how authors get inspired.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do. It could just be anything. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, it could. Totally.
There was a frying pan that's spitting out whatever, It's just.
Yeah, there was another book I have called this one was really interesting. It was called The Imperial Orchid. And basically it's a story about a female illustrator who they didn't really exist in the 1800s, but they did happen to. And she goes to, actually it was Ceylon again. They go to Ceylon looking for this imperial orchid. And what I didn't realize until I wrote this book was a lot of people are familiar with the tulip wars, or when they were like really crazy in the Dutch and all of that. Well, there was also something called orchid mania. And orchid mania, keep in mind that nowadays we can go to any Home Depot and pick up an orchid. It wasn't like that, 200, 300 years ago. They were like rare. They were existing in like these, very tropical places that most people couldn't get to. So that story was about her trying to find this imperial orchid and so she goes there and she's the illustrator. So she's illustrating that. So
you found this out about the orchid through your research?
Yeah. I was trying to find something interesting, comparable to, like I said, I forget if it's called the Tulip War. Somebody might know it in the comments, but it was something similar to that, where people were like obsessed with tulips back in that era, but this was the orchids. And these very rich, wealthy British men would pay like like amazing amounts of money for like one tulip. Like it was crazy. And so the whole point was this particular book, they're going into Ceylon to find this mythical imperial orchid, which they don't even think exists.
Wow.
So it was, and that just like, yeah, that caught my mind. I was like, oh, like orchid mania. That's awesome.
That is really cool. Now, when you get ready to sit down and write a book, I'm just trying to get into your writing process here, but you have an idea for a book, you got inspired by something you've seen or heard or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you do research prior to sitting down and writing a book, or do you just research as you go along?
No. So I know if you ask like 10 authors, they'll tell you 10 different things.
Yeah.
So what I do is I do a very in-depth outline. So I will outline the characters, what they look like. Obviously, first I have to pick the time. So what time are we, 1800s, 1900s. Right. So I'll pick the time. Then I start focusing on the characters, like who's here? Do we got, a man and he's got a grandfather? Do we got a woman and she's got aunts or mother or dad? So we're all, we're kind of like trying to figure out what we've got character-wise, what they look like, what their ages are. And then I start putting together the outline. So I want to kind of look at like each chapter, what's going to be happening in each chapter. And I'll tell you guys right now, there's been times where, and I'm sure Tina, this has happened to you, where you get into the middle of your book, like, I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Like these people have lost their way.
So I have.
You could do all the research in the world and you're still like, what are we doing with these people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I did just, that was.
Oh, there we go. Now this is the one that's on the graphic, right?
Yes, and this is the lady, the one that goes on the stage, and she makes friends with the Prince of Wales, and his bestie hates her.
I like that she's a redhead.
She is a redhead.
Good choice. Now I do know you're an indie author. You told us that. So when it comes to your covers,
yes,
you have a cover designer. Do you do your own covers? How does that work?
Yes, I do. I do have a cover designer, and as I like to tell people, it's my ex-husband.
Really?
But he actually does. But he does brilliant work, and that's kind of like his side gig. So yeah, I've worked with him on every cover except I think for one when he couldn't do it. So yeah, all the covers are him, and we really have a good working, because like we really see things the same, and so I'll send him like kind of what I'm thinking of, and it's gotten a lot easier. I know people don't like to hear this, but it's gotten a lot easier with AI, because AI has made things so much easier. Whereas before you'd have to be stuck with like, because indies, we don't have the kind of, or we didn't have the kind of access to things. So back in the day, you're just kind of stuck with like, art that's already in place, or, and so you really were kind of limited. But now with AI, you can do so much. So
I'm fine with AI as long as we use it as a tool.
Yeah.
I don't want, people sitting down with the AI. Oh, I have this idea for a book. Can you write it for me?
Yeah.
That I'm 100% against.
No.
AI is a great tool for us.
I couldn't even begin to, I have a very high ethic. So, I would never even think to have AI writing my books.
I hate to say it, but Amazon is just getting bombarded with a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Because of it, and people are just putting up like, just a picture with a bunch of blank pages and call it a notebook.
Yeah.
And they're charging bucks for it.
Can I answer? I just saw Belinda come in, and I just had to tell you guys a funny story. She said, does your family read your books? And I just wanted to tell you this funny story. So when I wrote my first novel, The Sheik and the Slave, that's the very sexual one. And it wasn't meant to be sexy. It was just the way it happened, like through literotica and stuff like that. But what was funny is my mom and my grandmother, they were still alive. And my mom, I think she read part of it, and she was so traumatized. And she said, do not send that to your grandmother. And my grandmother, as I mentioned, I'm very close with her, and she was very proud of me being an author. And my mom was like, because she couldn't get it any other way, she was elderly, and so she said, yeah, do not give that to your grandmother.
Now this is your debut novel that you're talking about.
Yeah, The Sheik and the Slave.
Yeah. What about, okay, before I ask you, I want to just pop up Elaine here.
Hi Elaine.
I want to give Elaine a shout out, because Elaine is the one that connected us.
Yes.
She reads your books. She reads my books. She is just a wonderful, wonderful supporter when it comes to all. You all are, but Elaine connected us. I just want to give Elaine a shout out for doing that, because we are finally chatting. Thanks to Elaine.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Elaine. I just want to give you a shout out for that. Now back to my question. That was your debut novel. That was steamy.
Yes.
How about all your other books? Is there
You
any
know,
steam in those?
I don't know if it's that I'm getting older, or I'll be honest with you and your readers, and if there's any writers here, they can attest. But sex scenes are very hard to write, and they're very awkward to write. I may be the only one. I find them very awkward. So I think I had like a couple sex scenes like in my 2 and 3. But as I've gotten older, and as I've gotten, especially with the mysteries, there tends to be there's, some tension and maybe a kiss or something, but there's not as much as it used to be in my previous novels, when I was beginning in 2014 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm the same way. I wrote a romantic suspense. It's steamy. It's an 8-book series that's steamy, but I haven't written a romantic suspense since.
Okay.
So I do have books with, but I would say it's like a 3 or 4 as far as, it's just like maybe 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah.
And for me, if we're going to be brutally honest, my thing is when I get to a scene, it's like, how many ways can you describe sex?
Exactly.
How many ways can we describe this?
Yeah.
But that's me. If I wrote a romantic suspense again, then yes, I'd have to do some steam. I think I'd have to show the chemistry. But I totally understand what you're getting. And I want to talk about your mysteries in just a minute, but I see a couple of questions from readers that I would like to put up. Here is one from Dana. She says, do you have a certain amount of words you write a day?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm past the Tina asked me about like what my organization and all that looks when I'm prepping. So once I write and I'm writing, like I'm in the mode and I'm going to write my novel, I have a whole system. So I actually keep an Excel spreadsheet, and I have to write 1,500 words a day to equal, it usually takes about a month and a half to equal 75 to 80,000 words, which is what a historic romance or historic mystery is. So I have a whole set thing, like laid out. So and I log it every day, making sure, because if I didn't, I think I would just be meandering, never finish it. Oh, I wrote 5 words today.
I've had those days, but you are very disciplined. You're very organized. I could learn from you. I do have a goal of, like you, $1,500. I wish $1,500 a day, 1,500 words a day. But that's when I'm actually start writing a book. I just released one. So for me, I'm taking some downtime. And that's my next question for you. After I recently read a book last week, I am now in my downtime while I circulate in my head the next book.
Yes.
Do you jump into the next book immediately, or do you have downtime or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, like for instance, The Belle of London, I put out at last Valentine's Day, and then it was a couple months and I wrote 21. I was actually using to look into getting a literary agent. So when you query literary agents, you can't have a published novel. Yeah, they don't want published. So I was using that to kind of query a little bit. But that's why I'm in the process of getting the cover up and running and then putting that out. And it's a mystery. So I really actually was thinking, oh, this is perfect timing because I could wait till Halloween, and release it then. But there's always downtime, and there's never like a set, like boom, boom, boom. Like I think there's always like, and sometimes I think also, and I don't know if you've experienced this, Tina, but sometimes you need like that downtime to decompress and get them out of your head, especially like I've had a couple of dark ones where I'm like, be gone. And then you kind of like, okay, now let's start up again.
Yeah. I mean, with me, I still take the downtime, but with being all mine a series, I'm yet to write that standalone. But I also don't want my readers to wait too long being a series.
Yeah.
And like the Sabella series, that one I was able to write really fast. I don't know why, but I was able to. But it depends on the series I'm writing, but I still need at least a couple of weeks downtime.
Yeah.
Just to get out of that mode.
And just so I didn't say what happens after. So once you're finished with the novel, or for me, I do like, and this is the part I actually hate the most, is I give it like 2 weeks to like sit there, and then I do a massive edit, which I don't know why. I just hate that part so much. And then it goes to my editor. I have a professional editor. Then they then they give it back, and then we go back and forth a couple times, and then it goes to my beta readers, who are usually fans that just want to read and look for content and continuity, and then it'll be published. So there's a whole process. So after this much time, I kind of have it down.
I agree with you about editing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my books. I love writing my books.
Yep.
By the time the edits are done, I'm tired of reading that book.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, but I totally understand. Okay, question here. When you are writing a book,
Uh-huh.
Virgie Lane would like to know, do you write every day?
Yeah. So when I'm in that process, like when I'm in the Excel spreadsheet part, I'm writing every day for about a month and a half until it's finished at usually it's 80,000 words. Sometimes it can go over. I've had books go over to like 85, but that's really the max. When you start getting into like the 85, they really don't want that. They want it to be not they, because I don't have a publisher, but the romance and the historical are 70 to 80. So.
Okay. This one is, we're going to totally shift gears for Connie's question. She would like to know, what do you do for fun?
Oh, what do I do for fun? Well, Tina and I were talking. I love traveling. I totally love traveling. So we try to go somewhere at least, once a year. And I trying to work out, keep in shape. I do jigsaw puzzles. I'm kind of nerdy. I do love to read.
I'm nerdy too.
I do. I love to read for pleasure. So I usually like historic fiction, but I love to read. I've always got a book in my hand, even when I'm writing. I also think it helps if you're reading really good content. It really elevates your writing as well. I've noticed that. So yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm just doing basic stuff out here.
There you go.
Kind of boring.
Okay, but when you mentioned travel, in your bio, you have mentioned that you've gone to Europe, China, Central America, Egypt. I mean, these are like fantastic. I'm assuming, because I've never been, far away places. You have seen some really cool places.
Yeah, I really like traveling. And I always think that, you kind of have to, you can travel at any time in your life, but I think as the older you get, you got to also think about your health, because it starts taking its toll. Like when I went to Egypt, that was a grueling trip. Like you're constantly like moving, like they've got you moving constantly. And the same was when I was in China. I've taken those two were trips compiled, like travel, because I think the more like not foreign, but the more like non-English speaking, you should like try to go with a group and then kind of see what you like and then maybe go back. Because I wouldn't want to just attempt to go to Egypt by myself, without any guide. Yeah, because you just don't know what to do. So because I'd love to go back to Alexandria. But yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, it's just traveling is fun. I've been to I've been to Guatemala, I've been to El Salvador. I love traveling. I was telling Tina I want to go back to England. I'd love to go to Russia. There's just so much to see. The world is such a, it's small, but it's fun.
You traveled in so many places. Have any of these resulted in some of your books? Have they inspired some of your stories?
Well, one of my, as I mentioned before we started, to Tina, my Egypt was a bucket list, and one of my novels, I think it's either 5 or 6, is called Love in the Valley of the Kings, and it was kind of my ode to Agatha Christie, because it was about a female archaeologist in 1920, which was very rare, very rare. And as I always kind of, like I was saying with my strong female characters, a lot of my female characters may be educated or are doing something that maybe wasn't the norm back then. And to have a female, and what they were looking for is an intact on Howard Carter's finding of King Tutankhamun. And so it wasn't that it affected me, but that was kind of one of the things that I really had always wanted to write about. And then when I went there, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool to see King Tut and be in front of the, I can't think of the one, but it's the one, Hatshepsut. I know I'm doing it wrong, but she was the pharaoh that was a female, but she was also considered a king because she was so impressive. So I know I'm getting her name wrong, but that's the one that's like,
that sounds really cool though.
Yeah, it's kind of her I don't know what it is, a palace or a funeral, but it was like, it's like cut into the side of a mountain, and if you see it, you'll know it. But it was just kind of like when you see it in person, you're like, whoa, like this is impressive.
Pictures didn't know justice.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to pause for a little bit because we have a treat in store. You're going to read to us.
Oh, you want me to read now? Okay.
Are you ready?
I sure am.
Yeah, we are. we love it when you read or when the authors read. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to hand it over to you and
Okay.
let you begin whenever you're ready.
And just so I can set the scene, this is the Belle of London. So this is the one that I was talking about, where this is her name is Amelia, and she loses her parents, so she does have to make her living by going out into the world and making her living. She's going to go on to the London stage. As I mentioned, she becomes kind of a favorite of the Prince of Wales at the time. Nothing sexual. He has a dear friend, his bestie, whose name is Christopher Beaumont. They call him Kit, who does not like her, who thinks that she is a gold digger. And she kind of catches the eye of his friend Patrick, and Patrick does like her. And there is kind of an attraction there between Amelia and Patrick, and Kit is not having it because that's his friend. And he thinks, this is not going to happen. So that's the scene. Okay. And he's basically trying to get rid of her in the scene. So,
all right.
Okay, here we go. She surveyed the man before her. He was sinfully good-looking, with brown, almost black hair and brown eyes warm upon her. He was dressed impeccably, and the cut of his coat and pants bespoke wealth and privilege. His shoes were polished, and she knew instinctively he was a man used to getting his way. "How can I help you, Mr.?" She sought out his name. "Call me Christopher." She didn't call him by his name. "How can I help you?" "You can do me a great service." As he spoke, he pulled out a small rectangular book and a fountain pen. All you need to do is name your price. Amelia frowned. "My price? I don't understand." Kit smiled as he opened up the checkbook. "I know you aren't in love. You just met. And I'm sure as a woman you dream of finer things, jewels, frocks. Name your price. You can have them tomorrow. But not Patrick. He's not for you." His eyes were as cold as stone. "Patrick?" She breathed out, her heart sinking. She had badly misjudged him. Amelia took off her gloves and faced the man in the low gaslights. "Patrick wants me gone." The man frowned. "Patrick doesn't know I'm here." "He doesn't know you're here." She looked again at his clothes and considered his voice, so used to giving orders and being obeyed, and she knew. He was here to buy her off. She almost laughed at the thought. "Am I such a danger to him?" she whispered. "To you? And aren't you placing the cart before the horse? Nothing's happened. One supper. What are you afraid of?" Kit looked her up and down. "You must be very used to using your attributes in a way to make men do what you want. I'm sure you've had men tell you so. I'm sure you've been offered protection from older men. Look at it this way. In my bargain, Miss Westcott, you get the money and you don't have to take off a stitch of clothing." "How dare you?" Amelia was breathless at the degrading words. An intense rage swept through her. Taking 3 steps, she stood before him, her cheeks flushed and her breath coming quickly. Kit was on his feet in an instant. He stared down into her face. "Is the truth so unpleasing to you, Miss Westcott?" She met his eyes and her chin notched up. "You think because you associate with a certain kind of woman, all women must be like that. Because I've fallen on hard times, my soul and heart can be bought for the price of a few shillings and pence. Be careful." Kit contemplated her oval-shaped face, auburn hair, and light blue eyes. "What I offer you is far more than shilling and pence. It would be more than you could make in a year." "You're so used to buying and selling people," she said coldly. "I'm not separating Tristan and Isolde," he responded. "You've fallen on hard times. I can make those hard times easier. Name your price." She looked away from him. "I have no price." £200. Amelia gasped. An army officer would make that amount in a year. "I care for Patrick, I do," she confessed, "and my care for him is genuine and honest. That you choose to come here and insult me when you know nothing about me, I cannot forgive. But because I know a part of you must care greatly for him as well, I'll forget this night. But know this, you've judged me wrongly and falsely. And though I'm not the type of woman you think I am, you seem to be the exact kind of man I think you to be," she threw at him. Kit's jaw clenched as he stared down at her. "And what kind of man is that?" Amelia narrowed her eyes at him. "You're a master. You're a man used to being obeyed and his orders followed, but you're a coward." She spat the words at him. "Instead of coming to me and asking me questions in a straightforward manner about Patrick, you made false assumptions and attempted to buy me." Kit almost sneered. "So, you don't have it in mind to marry Patrick for position and money?" Amelia cocked her head. Women can do little in society. Most of our worth is in being mothers and wives. Is it not? So if I were to say I'm not interested in marrying, that would be a lie. But as Patrick has neither asked me nor mentioned it, I don't see the relevance. Kit was about to respond, but she interrupted. And how is it your duty to confront me? You're not his brother. I know he has little family. Would he appreciate you being here now behind his back, offering me money to disappear? It's hardly the behavior of a gentleman, which I know you to be, she demanded. He raised an eyebrow. How do you know I'm a gentleman? Amelia made a sound of disbelief. Though you seem intent to make me seem like some unintelligent, money-grabbing slag, I'm not. I can see the cut of your clothes, the polished, expensive shoes, your authoritarian voice. Kit surveyed her then and was struck by her beauty, the clean skin, the luminous blue eyes. I won't apologize for protecting my friend, he said suddenly. She rolled her eyes. The last thing on earth I would expect from you, sir, would be a warranted apology for your bad behavior. That would mean you'd realize you acted poorly, and we can't have that. Kit took a moment to study her again and then nodded. Very well. Perhaps I misjudged the situation, but remember this. Patrick is an educated man with a law practice. I'm certain a music hall dancer will not fit into that lifestyle. You'll at least admit that. He raised an eyebrow. You know nothing about me, sir, she said quietly. That's it.
Ah, keep going, keep going. That's so good.
They hate each other.
Oh my goodness, that is so good. You totally have me hooked in that. You
Hold
read
on.
it so well too.
There you go.
You read it. Do you? Okay, I've got a few questions here, but are your books on audio?
Yes, I think Amazon is doing some new things, and so yeah, they are on audio. They are on Amazon Audio. I also do have 2 of my novels on YouTube, and one of them is The Belle of London. So for free, go check them out.
Do you read for your books? I mean, do you narrate any of your books? Because you read that really, you have a great voice.
Thank you.
Reading that book. I got to put up some of these comments from your reading. Elaine, she says, so good. And then Lisa Haney says, wow, it sounds great. Thank you for reading. That was so good. I've got chills. That was really good. Thank you for the reading. Elaine says, I really want that book.
I do have another expert. I just didn't know if you guys would want to hear it, but and it might be another 5 minutes. So I don't know if you want.
I'm okay with another reading. I'm sure these people won't complain. Go for it. They love listening to all.
Well, this one was when it's starting to get like a little bit more aggressive between the two. So this is afterwards. Kit confesses to Amelia. So you'll see what's happening. So
I'm ready.
So this is Kit. So
okay.
He felt dissatisfaction at the entire affair, and against his better judgment, he found himself traveling to her lodging. He knocked on the door twice, and she opened it, wearing a simple white chemise, and gasped at the sight of him. Oh, she blushed pink and half closed the door in his face. When she reopened it, she was wearing a dressing gown. I thought you were my landlady. May I come in? He asked. She opened the door wider for him and then closed it behind him. What are you doing here? He looked over her form. Her hair, normally pinned up, hung down her back, and her face was clean and fresh. She looked young and vulnerable. I understand you're to be married. She held out her hand with the ring on her finger. He glanced at it and turned away. The date is not yet to be set, but I've said yes, she acknowledged. I won't pretend I've changed my mind. I don't think you're suitable, he said bluntly. Suitable for any man or merely Patrick? She questioned, tired of this conversation. His brow furrowed. I'm sure another man would do. So it's Patrick. You don't want me to be his wife. If it was some fishmonger or greengrocer, that would be fine, she reasoned. I didn't mean, why are you here? She folded her arms across her chest. You don't approve? That's not a secret. What do you want? She looked him over. Do you have another check ready for me? A higher amount this time? 300, 400 pounds? No checkbook. He held up his hands. You hope to talk me out of it then, scare me away. She took a step towards him. Just because you don't approve, Mr. Beaumont, doesn't mean that your word is law. Obviously, Patrick isn't swayed by you and your opinions. You give me too much credit, Miss Westcott. You called me master once, but that's far from the truth. We all have tunes to dance to, he said strangely, and you have a tune. She seemed skeptical. To dance to. I must marry as well, he shrugged, for my family, for the name, for duty. Of course, I understand. But I find watching you and Patrick together, maybe I don't need so much, he said vaguely. What do you mean? She asked, not following his train of thought. Maybe I don't need breeding and hundreds of years of ancestors going back to William the Conqueror. What good is that, any of that anyway? He shook his head, studying her face. Maybe I just need a woman who inspires me and forces me to think, someone to challenge me. Amelia shook her head. And I'm sure you'll find her. What if I found her already? He said softly. Amelia looked at him credulously. Are you speaking of me? She pointed to himself, but he remained silent. Let me be very clear so there's no misunderstanding, Mr. Beaumont. I don't like you. I find you distasteful, smug, arrogant, and irritating. And were you not Patrick's friend, I would have nothing to do with you, she said. But her words had a strange effect on him, and he laughed, a smile on his face. The music hall dancer deems to tell me I'm not up to her standards? That's correct. And what sort of friend are you to go behind Patrick's back and say these things to me? She met his eyes. A very odd friend, if you ask me. I've done nothing untoward. Yet, he added the last word coolly. Yet, she rolled her eyes. Mr. Beaumont, let me be even more clear. Refrain from coming to my lodgings and speaking to me in this intimate way. It's unseemly that you should do so. You make assumptions that you're wanted here, and you're certainly not. I never assumed you wanted me, quite the reverse. Your very nature of frank speaking to me as you do and putting me in my place is quite exhilarating. He seemed astonished as well. Exhilarating. So you're mad as well, she said. Miss Westcott. He took her by the arm and pulled her to him. You're beneath me in class. That much is true. My parents would disown me if I were not the heir, and my friends would think I'd gone mad. But there's something about you, something that mystifies me, something that intrigues me. He said the last word in a whisper, his eyes moving over her face. Amelia placed a hand on his chest to separate them. Don't hold me so tightly and speak to me this way. Your words are offensive, and I've already told you there's nothing about you that is pleasing. And yet, I find you very pleasing, he said softly, his voice turning warm to seduce. How many men must have told you that your hair is the color of a fire as the embers die and eyes like a summer's day in July? Amelia's stomach clenched. First he insulted her, then he used words that no one had ever said before, scoundrel. But all the honeyed words in the world couldn't erase his arrogant smirk and his insults. Intense anger filled her soul. Mr. Beaumont, it is not my nature to be rude. But you have offended me enough for one night. Please leave. I think I might be mad, he whispered. Mad or in some strange dream where all I can see is ember-colored hair and eyes like the sky. Without another word, he pulled her to him. It was so quick and unexpected that Amelia forgot to react. His mouth took hers and his other hand touched her cheek in a caress. He released her arm and wrapped his own about her waist, deepening the kiss. With an arm wrapped around her waist, she recalled his words in her ear, "You're beneath me," and was jolted out of the kiss. She pressed against him, and when he took a step back, she slapped his face. That's the first and only time I've been slapped by a woman, he said coolly. You amaze me, she seethed, her breaths coming in short rasps. They stood together, staring at each other. Kit seemed to think of something to say, but nothing came. No apology, no soft words to smooth his actions, nothing. He simply stared at her. His lifetime of breeding to be a master and the woman who had succumbed to his charms had not prepared him for the one woman who didn't want him back. He seemed to want to say something. A myriad of emotions crossed his face, and when he took a step forward, she took a step back. He took a deep breath to steady himself and made a curt bow. Madam. And then he was gone.
Wow, you are just a brilliant reader. I love your voice. I really do. You need to narrate your books.
Narrate my novel?
Yes, you read it so well. I'm looking at the comments while you're reading. Like Connie says, I'm liking this book more with each world. Belinda says, awesome. Leisha, wow, your book sounds great. And you read so good. See, I'm not the only one. And Laura even said you should narrate your book. Laura Whitney, she said the same thing. Your voice is beautiful. You really read really well. Now that we have a sample of your reading, which everyone enjoyed, everyone's doing a wow. Tell us where we can find your books.
Oh, I'm everywhere now. So I used to be only on Amazon, but now I've gone wide. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple, and Google.
And how do you like it versus just being like Kindle Unlimited? Do you like wide better?
Do I like what?
Do you like being wide better versus just being on Amazon?
I think before I was more worried because Amazon has changed a lot over the years. I mean, in the 11 years I've been, I used to make really good money with one book, and now I hardly make anything. But because it's not, I mean, I have a daytime job, so because it's not my, I'm not in it for that especially, then I go wide, and I'm just seeing how it goes. It's only been, I think, less than a year, so we'll see how it goes, and
Well, good
hopefully,
for you taking that.
yeah, and I like it because it opens it up to more people, because there are some people that are just Apple people, some people, Barnes and Noble too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends, but I'm waiting to see. Yeah, I'm really hoping that it'll build up, and I haven't done really any advertising, so if I do, then I think that will help as well. So
I'm certain it will. So
yeah,
your books are on audio on Amazon, all
yes,
20 of them?
yes,
Okay. And then you have wide ebooks and paperbacks.
yes,
Correct? Is that what I'm saying? And
yes,
you also mentioned you have a couple of audio on YouTube,
yes.
and that's for free?
Yes, my two In the Midst of Shadows, which is a really, I'm not saying, I'm not being conceited. I just think a lot of people like it. It's got I think it's got like 800 plus reviews. It's my
Good.
historic, yeah, it's my historic mystery. And basically this is called In the Midst of Shadows. Oh, here, I have it. In the
Okay.
Midst of Shadows, she is a Penny Dreadful writer. And so she is writing about murders, and they start to come true. Do, do, do.
Ooh, now who's narrating that on YouTube?
I think that's both AI. So
Oh, okay. That's
don't
fine.
hate me.
That's fine. No, it's fine. I just wanted to know. But so they can go put in your name and they will come up and listen to those books for free?
Yeah, I can send you, or you might have it. My link tree has all of my links, so you can go to
Okay,
YouTube.
then that's in the text that we put with this. And
Yeah.
if you want to, if you're going to come back onto the author page, feel free to put any links in the comments that people can find you too. I
Okay.
saw a couple of questions back
Okay.
that I'll never find again because of all these compliments on your reading. But one of the questions was, I believe it's from Belinda Moody and also another reader. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but they asked how you come up with your characters' names.
Oh, that's really interesting. I really, again, this goes back to historic romance, so you're not going to have, I'm not trying to be mean, but you're not going to have like a tailor living in like 1880s, So I really try and look up like genealogy. I'll look up Victorian names. Like I really want the names to reflect the timing. So like one of my books was, I think it was 1880. So it was like all these like, like Hester. I mean, the names are like really old fashioned. So sometimes, I just think I want to, again, take it to that level. Like I really want the names to reflect these characters that are living this time, Henry,
Right.
they're very basic, names. And some of them like the one that's in the Midst of Shadows, it's Lavinia Howard. So yeah, they call her Vinny. But yeah, so I wouldn't say that I have like inspiration. I'll start putting them together, and then I'll start looking at the names that I like and connecting,
Okay.
oh, this is going to be her, this is going to be him. Also, I try not to make names that are too difficult so that people reading it will be like, how do you pronounce this? Because then they're going to go through the whole book like, oh, it's, this, and it's not.
I know if I'm reading a book and I can't pronounce the name,
Exactly.
I make
Yeah.
up my own name, and that's what I'll read it too. That's
Give
what
them a nickname.
yeah. Now you mentioned earlier in the chat that you are not, I wouldn't say switched, but you're trying another subgenre, which is mystery
Yes.
versus the romance.
Yes.
Couple of questions. Number one, why do the switch, and how do you like it versus writing romance?
I really like, so I'm a huge mystery buff. So I've gotten into like this gothic. They were like in the 1960s and 70s, like Dorothy Eden and Mary Stuart, and like all these 1960s. And they have like if you saw the covers, you'd be like, oh yeah, they're really cheesy kind of looking. But I just love them. And I've always been a huge like Agatha Christie, Poirot, Marple, all of that. And so I really like I look at them as like puzzles. You know, when you're doing a mystery, there's got to be like, usually it's a murder, but you gotta do the, you know. And so for me, I love that part of them. I just love creating that whole like what's going to happen. And like with the one that is 21, that's in the Howling Storm. It actually is very dark, but it has a good ending. But it's just kind of like, oh whoa, like this stuff is like, where'd you come up with this? Sometimes people are just like, oh, this is kind of dark.
Wow. But being a mystery, you really have to plot out your book.
Yeah.
You pretty much know the beginning,
Yep.
who's the villain, and you know how it's going to end.
Totally. You can't like, the characters may lose their way, but with a mystery, yeah, it's not like we're a romance where they're going to, the end is an HEA, like happily ever after. No, with mysteries, you really like, you're totally right. You have to know what the end is. You really got to plan it and plot it. Like you can't say, oh, here come, you know, where'd this person come from? Oh, they're the murderer. Like, no, you're going to upset readers that way.
Yeah, exactly. And see, I'm a pantster. So for me to do that, I might find it difficult to actually stay focused, stay on track, and you know, go by the guidelines that you started this book with. I might have an issue with that. I really now the book that's coming out, what is it called again?
Oh, that's In the Howling Storm.
And do you have a release date for that?
You know, I haven't, because that was the one that I was kind of shopping literary agents, but now I've got to get on it. I don't even have a cover yet. I've been kind of looking with some different covers. I thought I might be going a different direction, but then I'm like, I don't know about that.
So the book that's coming out, when it does come out, is this a mystery or romance?
Mystery. Yeah, this is the dark one. Yeah. I kind of, in fact, I was telling a friend of mine, they're like, whoa.
So how many mysteries have you written?
You know, I think they're probably, I mean, I'd have to go back, but I think they're probably half, because I used to do, I would go like back and forth. Like I do a mystery, then I do a romance, a mystery romance. So there's got to be at least 8 of them, at least 8. Cause I'm thinking, like I can think of 5 right in my head. So there's probably 8 of the 20.
And do you have a preference of writing romance or mystery?
You know, I not really, because like you guys really enjoyed The Belle of London. I really liked that because of the enemies to lovers. I don't think I've done one of those where they literally, like, people when they were commenting on Amazon, they were like, God, they hate each other.
I love that.
And it was really funny, like the sparring, and then you can tell like there's the sexual undertone. So it was really fun to write. But then mysteries are fun too, because you are weaving, and what I love, the best compliment I can get, and it happened with In the Midst of Shadows, where people are like, I never saw the ending, and that's the best, because you don't want people, you don't want people like, I saw it a mile away.
Or twist, if they didn't see the twist coming. That's a good one too.
And that's fun. Like when people are like drawn in and they're like, it's her, it's him, it's her, you know?
Yeah.
So I love hearing that.
I do. Okay. A lot of people here, you're a new author to them.
Okay.
If they've never read any of your work, which book would you recommend they start with?
You know, it really depends on what they like, because mine are all over the place. And, you know, I've got like, you know, like I said, like the orchid, I've got, you know, I did one in an 1880s workhouse where there was like a murder in the Victorian workhouses, you know, like there's so many, because I love doing that. Like that's what people always say about me. They're like, I can never figure out where you're going to do it or what you're going to write about. Yeah, it totally depends on, you know, I would say if they like mystery, In the Midst of Shadows is doing really well. This is the one, like I said, she's the Penny Dreadful writer, and it has like, at the last time I checked, it was like 800 reviews. So people really do tend to like it. Yeah. And if you want to do a romance, like I said, The Belle of London, you know, that's my other new one. So it really, you know, you can always go on my Amazon and like read the descriptions
and all that
and see what speaks to you. Cause sometimes, cause I do a lot of events like in person. I'm doing one on Saturday, and people will always come up to ask me like, which one do you want? I'm like, well, read it and I can tell you about it, because some people really, like I think Elaine said, some people don't like sex. So if you don't like sex, definitely don't read the earlier stuff, you know, and not that they were ever bad, but you know, Sheik and the Slave is definitely the worst one. So if you don't like, I'll actually tell people when I go to events, I'm like, you're not going to buy that. And I'm not
doing on Saturday.
And I'm not trying to do it to be funny. I really don't want the hate anymore. I have a local I have a local bookshop up here where I live that that carries my books. It's called Little Book Bub, and so I'm going to be there from 12 to 4 for Bookstore Romance Day. Yeah,
On what
come
day?
by.
On
Come
what
by.
day?
12 to 4.
No, what day? Saturday or
Oh,
Sunday?
Saturday. Yeah, the 9th, I think. For the 9th.
Yeah, the ninth. The
Yeah,
ninth.
I haven't put it on my my Instagram, but I'm going to put it up probably tomorrow. So yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
And real quick, a question from Lori. I thought it was a good question. Would you consider combining mystery and romance?
Yeah, I do. With my mysteries, there always is something like the in the Howling Storm. What happens? I'll just tell you a little bit about it. Basically, the main character, her sister, she thinks her sister disappeared and went to London and like took up with some guy and got married, and like they never heard from her again. But what she finds out, her father dies in the beginning of the book, and she finds all this letters and stuff of her sister actually had something happen to her, and so she disappeared basically. And so now she's like, I don't know what to do. Well, she finds some clues, and it leads her to the town of Linwood. And at Linwood, she starts coming together with people, meeting them. What she does is she meets the local architect, and his name is Sebastian. Is this Sebastian? Sorry, I totally blanked on the name. And she so she kind of has something going on with him, and he's helping her. So yeah, there is romance. There's no like intimacy. There's nothing. When I work on my mysteries, there's always a man and a woman. It's just there's never anything
Romance.
beyond like, yeah, like with the romance, like in Belle, there's like a couple sex scenes, and it's very like tense and stuff. So yeah.
Wow, interesting. I'm looking at the time. We're going to wrap this up. I could talk to you for another hour. This has been such a fascinating chat. It really has. One more final question, though, and then we're going to talk about the giveaway. But
Yep.
for any writers that are out there that want to be a published author, like you, like me, what one piece of advice can you give them?
One piece of I would say just finish it, edit it, and get it published. Because I've met a lot of writers. I've done a couple of writing groups, and I meet these people, and bless them, they're like, I'm still rewriting, and it's been like years. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, it's never going to be great. Like if I went back to my 1 and 2, I'm sure they could be spruced up, right, or cleaned up a little bit, but it's never. I mean, I always say I'm not writing Shakespeare here. I'm just telling a good story.
Exactly.
So if your goal is to like have something perfection, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Just keep writing, edit it, get it published. Like
I think we improve as we continue to write. Your writing improves.
Yeah, of
It really
course.
does. I mean, I look at my first book and I thought, oh, I could reword that, but I'm not going to.
Nope.
I
Nope.
want to just keep writing, and that's brilliant advice. And you are generous and doing a giveaway. Can you tell the readers about the giveaway?
Oh yeah, it's Bella London, right? They're gonna get Bella London. Yeah, so it's Bella London, the Enemies to Lovers, and I also have like some goodies, some pens and stickers,
Ooh, and it'll be signed.
and my sweat. Yeah, and then I get my signature. Oh, you can't see it, but there it is. But yeah, you'll get the Bella London, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So
Sweet. And what I would do is I will tag you and message you the winner.
okay,
I usually announce it a couple hours after because I want to go through and just see who's here, make sure this in the US only.
okay,
But I'm also doing my $5 Amazon gift card. Most
nice.
of you know how that works. You need to share this video from my author page, tag me, and share it to your favorite group, share it onto your personal page, share it wherever you want to share it. The more times you share it, the more entries you have, and you're entered for the $5 Amazon gift card. Again, that will be announced tonight also. But Nicole, this has been a fantastic chat. Thank you.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. And I hope to have you back when your new book comes out.
Oh yeah, that's true. I will keep you posted about, I got to get that cover going, but I had a great time, and it was so lovely to see all the people messaging. You have your little fan group. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. We love it. We love it. But I will keep you posted on the winners, and again, when the podcast comes up too.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thanks for the great questions. And if you have time, check out the author page for any questions we didn't get to, Nicole.
Okay.
Okay.